name's Brianna. I teach English at the secondary level.
My name is Patrick Koster. I'm a Peace Corps volunteer in Namibia.
My name's Dave Bull. I'm an HIV/AIDS health volunteer.
My name is Jeremy Waldron. I'm an upper primary English teacher.
I'm Lauren Crowley. I'm in group 26. I've been at site for 14 months.
I'm in Onakaheke Village.
I live on a traditional Mbango homestead.
I live in Indangungu in the Shipanga house.
I live with an Mbango family.
Living with the family has been fantastic.
I knew in the second day that I was going to be happy here.
It's been a very comfortable experience.
I really feel like I'm part of the family now.
I live on their homestead.
I live in the actual building with my family.
They're glad to have me here, and I'm glad to be here.
I'm really, really happy here.
I've been very happy. I think Namibia is a good country. I think that the volunteers will like it here. My job at the time, I was no longer interested. Really, I didn't want to sit behind a desk anymore, and I had done that for almost 6 years, and I wanted to get out and do something more meaningful, get involved in health some way, and so I just basically jumped into it.
I joined it because I've been planning to for a long time. Just hearing other volunteers, like older adults, talk about their experience in Peace Corps, I just was always interested in doing it, so I did.
I think being in a different culture and different country pushes me to talk to people or to try something different, and it pushes me so far out. It forces me to survive. I have to do what I'm not used to. And so I think I realized Peace Corps would be a chance to kind of go outside my bubble.
I have served in Peace Corps before. I lived with a family when I was in Chad, and I had a really positive experience there, so I wanted to live with a family here in Namibia. It was just a big part of my service in Chad doing it, and I knew it would be the same here.
I did request to live with a family. I lived with host families before doing other things, and I realized it's an experience that I really liked.
I live with an Mbango family, all the way from a cuckoo who is no one knows how old, maybe 100 or more. I have a Mei. I have 4 sisters, 4 brothers.
My family is usually my Mei, who is a retired teacher. Sometimes there's a cousin who comes to help us, so it's kind of a mixture of people.
I live with my principal and her family. I have a lot of host brothers and sisters, many ages. This is Fortune, my host brother. This is my homestead. We're growing tomatoes everywhere. This area is for chores, like building stuff and making stuff. And this is where the Mbango is pounded, inside here. And this is just a shady place to relax after school.
I live on their homestead, and they built me 2 huts that I'm very proud of. I have one that's my kitchen, and another is my sleeping room. When it rains, it's not really loud. It's more of the pleasant rain sound.
What's going on into the homesteads in the north is people are starting to have access to money. And so what's happening is the traditional thatched huts are being replaced by more standard brick buildings with a tin roof. And so right now that's what I'm in, and eventually, everyone in my family is going to be enclosed either with bricks or at least with the metal siding.
I think half of us probably live on homesteads, so they live in similar type setups that I have, but they have their own structure. They have their own building that has their bedroom, and maybe there's an attached kitchen, and they may have their own washing area and things like that.
I have my own house, and I have a stove and a fridge. It's a nice house.
I live in the actual building with my family. We share the kitchens, we share the washing area, we share the latrine.
It's pretty much what I expected. I'm in the middle of nowhere. It can be very difficult to get a lift into the village and out of the village. What I did not expect is to have electricity, which I do have electricity to.
My Mimi has a solar panel that works pretty well in the dry season, but my house is not hooked up to electricity, and we have 2 taps at the school, and those are the only taps in the village.
We have a water tap. We don't have any other running water. We don't have electricity. This place has never had electricity.
I don't have electricity. I do have it at my school, but no electricity, so I eat by candlelight. I have a stove and a refrigerator that are powered by gas.
I didn't have electricity when I was a volunteer in Chad, and I did not have a tap on the premises. Either I had to fetch water or I had to pay somebody to fetch water, and it wasn't always clean water. This tap is always clean. It's always healthy.
We have a tap on the homestead. It goes on and off. Sometimes it will be off for, just a day. Other times the water will be off for maybe 2 months. So when the water goes off, I have to fetch water with my jerry can at school. And maybe the school is 200, 300 yards away. It's usually just one time every 2 days or something. Sometimes, it's maybe 2 times in one day.
The lack of running water and electricity is not very difficult to adapt to. That's pretty easy.
Not having electricity wasn't an issue for me. It's something that I expected coming into Peace Corps and coming into an environment like this, which I requested. I requested a rural atmosphere. I didn't care if it had electricity. I don't really have a need or use for electricity. I don't own a laptop, so I didn't bring one. I don't have an iPod that I need to get charged. I'm able to charge my cell phone that I have at school. We have electricity at the school. Not having electricity here hasn't hampered my life in any way. I think it's wonderful at times.
This is kind of what I was hoping for, to live a totally different way than I'm used to. It's been nice with my family because I've had someone who's shown me how.
I think it's been an interesting way for me to learn about conservation and different things that I can do to entertain myself by not having electricity for 2+ years now. So, this is the Shipanga house. This is a traditional sitting area, which has been battered a little bit by all the rain we've had. This is the water tap. This is the only source of water that we have here at the house. This is our chicken coop. And we have a decent amount of chickens. But this is where Jilly and Suwama do most of the cooking. This is basically a traditional stove, which is 3 rocks, and they put timber underneath, and then a pot on top. Here's our corral.
I've ended up in a very modern home. I definitely thought I would be roughing it, I guess you would say. Didn't know whether I'd have electricity or running water and things like that. I live in the house with them, with all of those things, and it's nice, and I think that it is right for me. Like, I feel like I fit here, but it was a little weird when you come into Peace Corps thinking that you're going to go into maybe a hut and have very little to work with. Alright, so this is the house where I live in Sumeb. Live with my tate, the Honorable Regional Counselor. Whole place is under construction, so it's a little weird, but I'll take you through it anyway. Better go this way. Okay, so this is the front. There's some rooms that were added on here, and this is the sitting room. We have over here, well, here's Meme. Say hi, Meme. Hi. It's a very nice home. I feel very fortunate to be here, and that's about it.
I came in, I'm the first volunteer here. I had an open door policy. I kept my doors open, and my little brothers and sisters would come in and out of my room. We'd play cards. They would come in and just be looking around at my photos.
Always in the morning, even if I'm in bed, my meme comes in and greets me in the morning. A lot of the time she'll come say goodnight.
I do have a lot of people on the homestead. Some people like to have more personal space than maybe me.
I don't ever feel like I don't have enough of my own time or space. ever.
They know when I'm in my room, that's my personal time. That was kind of established, even without verbalizing it early on, that my room is my space. It has to be my space because there's nowhere else to go. Anywhere else I go, I'm going to be around somebody.
If I close my door and read or journal or whatever, then they just let me do that. And when it's open, then, you know, we talk.
If I have a problem, I can go to them. If we see each other, we'll talk.
They're very, very good about giving me my own space. I'm very happy with that.
They allow me my freedom when I need it, and I'm able to spend time with them. They kind of understand where I'm coming from, and we just seem to match well. It's been a very comfortable experience.
I think it's really however you want to establish that connection with your family. Whether or not you want to be one that just kind of does your own thing and not really let them into your life, or vice versa. This is where we cook our food every night. Sometimes if it's raining, we cook the food here. What Meme is preparing, and here is the Oshinkundu.
Porridge.
And this is just the porridge, the Mahangu porridge. This is my kuku. Kapanao kuku. Tala, Oshilumbu.
My whole community, Sumab, the English is very good, and I'm learning from other volunteers that certainly isn't always the case with where you're placed.
Communication with my family, it can be difficult at times.
With my host mother, Meme, she doesn't speak a lot of English, but all the kids do, and they speak English from level of good to excellent.
It's a little Oshiwambo mixed with a little English. We're able to get through that. We do a lot of sign language. I really wish that I could get into deep conversations with some of them. Besides that, it's all been superficial for a year and a half, and yet we're still able to, laugh at each other, and we find ways to make jokes, and it really works out.
They speak a different English, for sure. Namlish is a whole different animal, which I think volunteers will learn very early, that the sayings are different. You think you're communicating on a certain level, and you might not be, but it just takes time and patience with that, I think, and then you start to communicate more on an equal level.
I remember coming here the first time. I laid in my bed the first day, and I was like, it takes so much energy just to go out there and meet people who you don't speak the language with, and they don't understand you, you don't understand them, and I just didn't want to do it. But I forced myself out there. I just put myself in their situation. I would sit down and I would eat dinner with them. I would take my book and I would read underneath the thatched roof while they're all walking around. With time, we start to feel comfortable with each other. I really feel like I'm part of the family now, and I think it's the same with them.
I knew in the second day that I was going to be happy here, and that this was a really special family and a really special place. And I think the big part of it was there wasn't a language barrier. From day one here, even during site visit, I was able to be completely myself, and that's, I think, just kind of snowballed into doing things that I want to do, and being able to experience the type of things that I wanted to experience living with a family and in Namibia.
The key ingredient is laughter, and I think both the family and I have been able to laugh at each other throughout this whole experience, and that's what kept it going. This is where Hello, man.
My name is Mrs. Mbango, the principal of Nambutu Combined School, whereby Lauren is a Peace Corps volunteer responsible for English and many projects. Sitting here, they are my family children. Yeah, she is Fortune, grade in the kindergarten, 4 years old. This one is Junior. Junior, can you look at me? She's Junior. He's 2 years old. This one, her name is Kandunga. She's responsible for taking care of our house when we go to school. Festus, can you say her name in Oshiwambo? Yeah? Yeah, to the name Oshiwambo? Talaku. What to get Yeah. She say he is Festus, and he is responsible for taking care of our livestock. When we go to school, Festus used to go in the field to take care of the goats and cattle. That one is Mandume, a grade 8, A Lena at our school. Yeah, that is Mbango Family. Yeah.
I think the opportunities to really experience the culture are there when you're living with a host family, and there right away. I think eventually all of that happens as a volunteer throughout your 2 years here, but I think that initial immersion is much easier when you're living with a host family.
I know if I was ever doing something that they didn't think was good, they would tell me. And I know that if I'm unsure about what I'm doing, I can ask them.
The showing of affection is like a little bit more subtle than you would expect at first, but it's definitely there.
We share meals. We do things together sometimes on the weekends.
I cook a little bit for my meme sometimes. She likes American chili.
Dinner is the best part of my day because we all gather as a family and eat together either inside or outside, and we eat traditional porridge or shimbombo if you're a Donga speaker, and soup, shopa, with some ohuhua or anjukwa, some chicken, and some potatoes or some other type of vegetable in the soup.
Towards the end of the growing season is when there's a surplus in food. I get a lot of what they're eating. It's all great food. I really do like it.
I contribute $10 a month towards water because we have a water tap that I use freely. I don't think that's actually something normal among volunteers. It's just something that I offered.
I have a set amount to give toward the grocery bill that was determined by Peace Corps, and the family seems to be fine with that.
I either buy chicken every week or potatoes. If I buy the chicken, usually Meme buys the potatoes. If I buy the potatoes, usually Meme buys the chicken. Dinner's pretty much split. Mahangu's free because we grow it.
We share groceries and cooking and kind of cleaning responsibilities.
I do dishes usually at night because Suama and Julia prepare dinner.
As far as I can tell, I mean, they seem to be happy with what I'm doing, and it's working.
This is the refrigerator and the stove that are given to me by the ministry. And they're both gas powered. We share the stove and we share the refrigerator. This is how it is. Every night the goon.
Well, the kids are waiting for you. Sitting surrounding you. Yeah.
How long do I stir it? A long time? Or just... Do I have to scrape it down to the bottom?
Yeah, now we are preparing lunch for the family.
Yeah, we're preparing oshifima.
Chifima.
Oshifima lunch.
This is Oshimelewa.
This is where we pound the mahangu into the grain, and then we cook the porridge or the oshima, and you use this big thing and you pound it. Here's all our storage. So this is where you keep the mahangu, and we could live off of this maybe for a year, probably more, depending on how the harvest is. If it's a good harvest, the more mahangu you have, then the more you can have for a year or maybe 2 years. We're going to start cultivating in maybe a month, but this is where we keep the food.
even though I know that this Peace Corps experience for 2 years is something special and you should do something different, and part of that for me was living with a host family. It does have its difficulties and its drawbacks.
To come here and try to get things going, the pace of the culture is very slow. I never thought I would be having a challenge in that aspect of life.
One day isn't very different from the next day. You pretty much know what to expect when you get up in the morning. That's not always a problem though.
Being back in a family environment, it was some adjusting for me. It was difficult. There's always a lot of activity here at the house. When I come home, I want a quiet space. I want to sit down and read and rest.
I get lonely sometimes out here all by myself. I mean, even with such a big family, still, it's easy to get lonely.
The disadvantages of it and the difficulties that I have can also be turned into advantages and positive aspects. I think the advantages are that there is somebody around, and there's always somebody to cheer you up, because this family is such a happy family. There's always somebody to brighten your day when things are going tough. There's usually somebody around to distract you if that's what you want.
Going out in the community, it's easy. It's always a cultural experience, and if you're ready for that, then no matter if it's good or bad, it's easy to handle.
I think the thing that made it great is that this is a really special family, and I can't imagine living in this type of environment with any other family.
It's been difficult to try to find that balance between the fast-paced American life versus the slow-paced village life of Africa.
The two biggest things that have gotten me through and kept me going is patience, being patient with myself. First of all, that I'm not going to figure it all out in one day, and I'm not going to be a great teacher in one day, and I'm not going to be able to understand Namibia in one day, and I'm not going to understand it all, but that it'll come slowly, it'll come together.
It's only going to slowly change, and you can't expect to come in here for 2 years and expect things to be completely different.
And then I think the other thing is when I have a really bad day, I just remember today is over, and tomorrow is a different day that I get to start again.
It's in the small success, and I think frustrations are matched with simple pleasures, always.
I think it's good to, if you're feeling uncomfortable or stressed out, to try and harken back to a comfort zone that you would have in the States. Do something that you would enjoy doing in the States.
I listen to a lot of music. I do a lot of reading. I play soccer with the kids.
Reading and cooking and running are basically my three hobbies out in the village. And they all are necessary, integral parts of my day.
And it usually has to be on those simplistic levels, because a lot of times we don't have electricity, so watching a movie or TV or working on your laptop isn't an option for some of us.
We have a volunteer nearby, only a few kilometers away. But if you walk there, it's 2 hours away. I rarely see her unless I'm in town going to meet her. As soon as I come back to my village, I can choose to not ever see a volunteer if I want to. Or if I need that break and I need that companionship, then I can call them up and meet them in town, and it's very easy to see them.
I can go into town once a week and see other volunteers.
Going to, in our case, we have kuka shops, which are bars, but they're also places where you can buy some basic groceries and things. During that walk, you're bound to run across people, and just saying hello and showing your face in the community, and then especially at the shops, just kind of going around and saying hello to people is a big part of your job. I've done that even when I didn't need any groceries. For whatever reason, I was feeling despondent during the day or just really bored, and I just decided I'm just going to go take a walk to the kuka shops. It's a 5-10 minute walk there and a 5-10 minute walk back, but you end up staying down there for an hour just saying hello to people and just getting into basic conversations and just showing your face in the community and being part of the community. I think that's really an important part of being a volunteer, and I think it can be a really positive thing when you are feeling confined or bored. It's really been beneficial in both communities I've served in Chad and here in Ndamgungu. You're able to be seen and heard by people in your community, especially initially. It's really easy to say, and it's really difficult to do sometimes, but it's extremely important. It'll be beneficial to your initial experience, and it'll be extremely beneficial, I think, down the road.
I came into Peace Corps thinking, I'm ready for this. I think I have an idea of what I'm going into. I'm good with people, so I'm not going to have a real problem adjusting. I really thought that I was totally ready for this. Even though I've come to a town and there's some things that are easier about it, that whole relationship with other people from a totally different culture it's going to shock you. And I think one of the more shocking things about it is that when they start speaking clear English to you, you almost instantly feel more comfortable, and you think that you're on a like kind of the same level, but then you learn that it's very different, and you go through some struggles with that in communication. Yeah, just the up and down. I would say for volunteers, be ready for a bit of a roller coaster of emotions.
I'm somebody that's usually pretty quiet and sometimes closed off in the States, but I've had to kind of get over that and venture out and do things that I wouldn't normally do.
There's only so much one person can do. You'll succeed, but you're going to fail a lot, and just go with it and try to keep that smile on your face, and that's the only thing that's going to keep you going.
You obviously have to be very open-minded and not closed off. Not only that, but you do have to get out of your own skin a lot. If you're somebody who's kind of introverted and apt to close yourself off, not only emotionally but physically, stay in your room, do a lot of things like that, you may be able to get through the 2 years here, but I don't think you're going to have a very positive experience, and I don't think you're going to have the type of experience that your community wishes of you, especially in their request for a volunteer.
I've been very happy. I think Namibia is a good country, certainly good people. Had a lot of nice conversations with people, and I think that the volunteers will like it here.
The best advice I could give you:
slowing down everything, about everything, probably. Just getting used to slowing down everything. Yeah.
To live in a hut, and I went to Selma and I said, is that allowed? Can I live in a hut?
Why I joined the Peace Corps? I think about that quite often. I had nothing better to do, so why not come to Africa?
I pretty much just slow down. I just like, this is what you're doing right now. Yeah, that's what you're doing, so that doesn't really make any sense, but that's what I say to myself.
Oh, hello. I did not see you there. You caught me mending my fences.
Just wait here.